All right, welcome to Modern Home Masterminds with Bespoke Brokers. I'm Shauna Glazier, designated broker and owner.
And I'm Brittany Williamson, associate broker. Shauna and I are Bespoke Real Estate, but we're also your guides to modern luxury across the entire state of Arizona.
Each week, we chat with masterminds shaping modern spaces. Do you want to get a behind the scenes look at your design build team's process? Well, open communication and teamwork will lead you to a successful project.
From architects to builders, designers, and more, let's explore the art of modern living together.
All right, welcome back, listeners. Have you ever stepped into a home and that instantly made you feel calm and grounded? Well, that sense of effortless balance is what today's guest, architect Ty Harrison, calls tranquil modernism. And we can't wait to dive in to see exactly what that is.
That's right. Ty is the founder and principal architect of Ty Harrison Design, a Phoenix-based architecture studio specializing in contemporary residential design that embraces light, nature, and harmony. After earning his degrees in architecture from Arizona State University and the University of Southern California, Ty honed his craft in California, where exposure to coastal modernism and Japanese design philosophies profoundly influenced his work. Today, his projects across Paradise Valley and beyond are known for their warmth, balance, and quiet sophistication, blending modern architecture with timeless Zen-inspired principles.
Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Quite the intro.
I'm excited to get to know
Your
you a little
website
bit.
is great.
Well, thank you.
All right, you describe your approach as tranquil modernism. How would you explain that in simple terms, and what makes it different from other modern styles?
Yeah, tranquil modernism, it really goes to, takes the idea of modernism a little step further and just making sure everything's really warm and comfortable. So whenever someone steps into one of my designs, I want them to feel like they would want to, sit on the couch or party and just hang out there for a long time, right? I don't want them to feel cold when they come to my design, and that's a lot of people's complaints. I found that when they come into a modern house, they're like, well, there's too much white. The materials are really cold and not inviting. So I think, the tranquil modernism part is bringing that sense of calm into where your home. So that's where, and we'll get into it, a little later in this podcast. But I think a lot of the trends that we're finding in architecture really go to the idea of calm and wellness and really feeling at home when you're sitting at home.
That's interesting. I do think that that's a lot of feedback we get. I mean, we specialize in modern architecture. Our firm does, and people when they talk about modern, it's like you just can't touch it. They love looking at a modern house, but when they're in it, it's like you don't know where to sit, you don't know what to touch.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And it's described as cold, and so
Or even dangerous. We had that recent.
yeah,
right?
very recent.
Yeah.
They described
Yeah,
modern as it feels a little dangerous because everything is so hard.
Yeah,
and
exactly. And
sharp
it's
corners.
uninviting. Yeah, sharp corners, and it's a lot of raw materials, right? So the idea of the postmodern design was a lot of steel, raw concrete, kind of uninviting materials. Whereas today, it's more we bring in calm and warmness with woods and still getting exposed steel here and there, but really trying to still keep it clean and keep those lines, the modern clean lines, with the natural openness, but just making it something that you want to go up and touch rather than something you want to stay away from.
Right. No, I love the tranquil modernism.
I love it
I
too.
have to start using that term to describe the properties.
Definitely. So I want to go back a little bit to the beginning.
Yeah.
Tell us your story. How did you get into architecture? Is it something you've always wanted to do?
Yeah, so I knew I wanted to be an architect from a really young age. Went to my uncle's an architect, and I went to his offices and just was immediately drawn to kind of the old school ways of doing it. They used to physically build, the models. Going back, it's like people would physically hand build all these wooden models and go through. So it's like I was able to tour their offices and saw these small miniature scale cities. And I just thought that was so cool that you could, I guess, come up with in your imagination something that wasn't even physically built yet, and then basically let your imagination run wild and go from there. So I always knew I wanted to be an architect growing up, and luckily that worked out for me.
So you mentioned that you knew you wanted to be an architect and you knew you wanted to go to ASU growing up. I heard you say that earlier.
Yeah, exactly. So, funny story. So when I was in second grade, my teacher had us write a letter to our future self. And upon graduating elementary school, we got that letter. And when I got that letter from sixth grade, rereading it, and it said, my name is Ty. I want to be an architect. I don't want to go to ASU. So, fast forward 18 years later, whatever it was, I, graduated ASU design school and became an architect. So, don't know if that was a little mind reading or future reading, but it all worked out.
Wow. That is crazy at that young of an age for you to know.
Yeah. And I think it's funny because whenever I meet most architects and, or at least when I talk to other architects, everyone always knew that they wanted to be at some point. I meet a lot of people that says like, oh, I was really into architecture, but I wasn't good at math or wasn't good at drawing. And that's a very small part of it. But I think a lot of people, at least for the most part, know that they want to be an architect from a young age, surprisingly.
Why modern architecture in particular?
So modern architecture, I actually thought when I got my master's at USC, I was hell-bent on becoming an architect that worked for a large firm, and I was going to do tall towers. So I studied abroad in Shanghai and really fell in love with modernism there just because of the tall towers and specifically super tall towers going out there. So found out about that. And then once I started my internship after USC, I got hired by a firm that designed houses. And I was like, well, I'll try that out. And then ended up liking that 10 times more than designing commercial buildings. So that translated right away from going from super tall towers down to home design, custom homes, right? I never wanted to do cookie cutter homes. I never really wanted to work for a large scale builder. I knew I wanted to do those one-off custom homes. And then luckily, the firms I worked for focused on custom homes, and that's where I really honed my craft and, became what I like to call a master of custom homes.
Such an interesting story.
Yeah.
Well, and then, so my next question is explain the Japanese Zen principles. Is that from your?
Yeah. So I think in a few of the designs that we have featured on the website and that have completed, really some of those Zen principles, it's bringing that feeling of calmness and openness into the design, but also, that feeling of bringing natural materials, whether it's wood or whether it's a garden. So I love to incorporate indoor gardens into my design, whether that's through plants or, rock design, or even I do a lot of water-based design with sculptures, right? So sculptural elements are very thoughtfully curated throughout all these projects. So for instance, the Jackrabbit property, we have the entry water feature that you walk over, but it spans the whole width of the house. And then we have a very specific sculpture that I found out of the UK and had it shipped from there, so we could place that on a pedestal. And that's, one of the first things your eye is drawn to when you come to the house.
And also just the water feature in between the office and the primary suite, the wellness center, like.
Yeah, that one's for sale still, and that's everyone's favorite feature, to be honest, of the house. It's the Zen garden, the entry feature, or the water feature between the office and the gym. And the best part about that, all the doors open, you're connected with water, you're connected with nature, full height glass, obviously, and it all opens up. So, everyone's connected to that point throughout the house.
Well, let's look at some of your projects. I know that you brought some photos with us.
Yeah.
Please remember that a lot of people are just listening. So if you could, you're doing a great job of describing things. Yeah. So just keep it up.
So this is Jackrabbit.
Okay. Oh, this is Jackrabbit.
Yeah.
So that's the sculpture we can see right there.
Yeah. So the Jackrabbit property is a project I did with Max and Patrick out of MP Design and Development, which they're great guys to work with.
I second that.
So what we're seeing here in one of these pictures, this is the sculpture that we got out of the UK. And then also incorporates a fire feature within the water. So it's kind of something that you don't see every day, where people come in and they're like, oh my gosh, there's fire and water and sculpture and art. So it's all these elements combined that really brings that wow factor for, again, bringing that warmness into design, but also just bringing something that you don't see every day. This is taking custom to the next level.
Definitely.
So yeah, the Jackrabbit, this is one, another idea of bringing tranquil modernism, but also, the sense of calm. So this was, you could open the door to the water feature. This was the lounge here. So you could, sit at the end of the day, come have a drink. The wine display was a custom wine display that I designed from a company based out of Canada. So that was a very custom piece. And then on the other wall, we have the custom backlit quartzite wall. So that's a Cristallo quartz.
I was wondering what that was. That's pretty stone.
Yeah, so it's what we do. It's this found out this pretty cool way to do an LED light sheet behind stone, so the full veining and color of these stones come through, and everyone just loves that factor. So we did that here, and then in the bathroom as well, and that's kind of everyone gravitates towards that. So when they go to the primary bath, they see that, and they're, you know, these are what sells these homes typically, or these elements that just takes it up a notch from being, you know, custom to this is, you know, a dream home.
I did notice when we walked through this property, those are two things that I noticed right away.
Really? Yeah.
And it's just very cohesive. Like everything flows really well.
Well, thanks. Yeah. Yeah. And the idea of, obviously, one of the principles of modernism is clean, open lines, and everything is, you know, the open floor plan. So while everything is thought out, as far as furniture, you know, our firm does all the layouts for furniture prior to even bringing on an interior designer or, you know, an interior design firm. It's we think through every single piece of furniture and how the space is really going to be used by these people. So, you know, it's we walk through the entire space and act like we're living there, but we also want to make sure every space is used properly, I guess.
Is that a concrete bathtub?
Yeah, so that's a stone bathtub. It weighs a couple thousand pounds. That had to be craned in actually, and then walked in through the side of the house. So that's, yeah, stone, complete stone bathtub.
Wow.
With
And
a circular skylight and LED cove
Yeah.
lighting. We did so much LED cove lighting on this project that it really made it special.
just the his and hers, the light in the dark closets. I
Yeah.
like that touch too.
Yeah, that was pretty fun to do that. And obviously, this is where we get to have fun. So we get into these really personal or, you know, private, smaller spaces that can really be customized. But really, that's where we start to have fun with interior design. So it's her closet. She wanted a lighter and brighter feel. His closet, he wanted more masculine, so we went darker. We incorporated a motorized watch safe that pops up
I
from
saw
the
that.
island on this one. So that's, you know, for the watch collector, have their items hidden away, and then the touch of a button that pops up and comes out.
So you mentioned earlier that you do work with interior designers, but you also can do interior design in-house.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah. So what our firm provides, it's basically architectural interiors, what I call. So many of the spaces and design flow from outside to inside that we prefer to basically do the whole house design, what I like to call it. So, you know, the flooring material should be the same inside as it is outside, right? Because the floor to ceiling glass, it's recessed in the floor, so we can get a curbless transition, a recessed transition. So there's not the whole idea of blending inside and outside and basically getting the indoor to outdoor seamless, I guess.
Yeah, and flush.
Yeah, flush and basically merging the two. So, and then, you know, floors, the walls, so we'll have all the pocket doors, those should be the same materials, you know, it's just colors and paint and bringing nature inside to outside. So I really like to design whole house, and that includes site planning as well, right? So I, you know, very much care about where a pool goes, where sculpture goes, where the landscaping goes, and just basically how the entire site is, I guess, how we walk around, and just circulation for the entire site is what I'm trying to say. So it's everything is very thoughtfully curated. So I like to do everything.
Those are the exact words I was thinking when we walked through this project recently. Is that everything is very intentional.
Right. Thank you. Yeah, and the Jackrabbit property, we went through a firm based out of Florida, and so this house comes fully furnished as well. So that's so we did the space planning, all the layouts and everything, and then me and Max sat down with the furniture planner, I guess, or the furniture supplier, and handpicked every single piece of furniture in this house. So this house comes fully furnished, and that's I think, you know, a trend that we're starting to see come more from, you know, California, and people that are buying their second homes is they like to
Turnkey.
basically, buy a turnkey home that they don't have to furnish. Not only is it brand new, but they come in with brand new furniture. They don't have to worry about, you know, a moving company coming in.
And also for our listeners to know, it has a sauna and a cold plunge and a massage room and like every amenity in this
Well,
house.
and it has quality furniture in it, because I think I've seen a lot of people come through. I was just talking to an agent on Friday about how she had sold a home with the staging furniture, and they sold the staging furniture. What the clients didn't realize is that that particular furniture really was just meant for staging.
Right.
It wasn't really meant
Yeah, it looks
to use
good, but
every
it
day,
may not
right?
be the best of quality or something.
Yeah,
at
to
that
go
point.
to do something like you've done and use quality furniture.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. And I
huge.
mean, oftentimes in other projects too, since some of these, the process of designing these custom homes for clients, they do have good furniture or good artwork that they do have in these previous homes that they want to move over. So we'll go through and document and measure and take photos of that and plan for those to come if that's the case. So we can do both, but I think, yeah, the trend that we see is people want to buy a new house with the furniture in there.
What's the next project on here we can chat about?
There's probably Cheney on there.
Cheney's at the top. Yep. Was this a build to suit for a client?
Yeah, so this was a custom home. Cheney is a custom build to suit home that it was for a really nice family, actually. And this is where we had some fun doing some of these design elements. So this was for a family of 5, and they wanted separation from their kids, but wanted to be close at the same time. So they have their own bedroom wing on one side of the house, and their 3 kids live on the other side of the house. But one thing that we always do in every single one of our designs is incorporate, ensuite bedrooms, right? So every bedroom always has a bathroom and a closet. So I think that's a huge trend that I don't ever see going away here in the future.
I would agree.
People don't like to share bathrooms, right? That's a really personal, intimate space, and you don't want to have to share it with somebody. So you want the hotel setup, right? So a lot of these homes are set up to be almost like a resort, right? So you want to feel like if you're a guest, you're comfortable. If you're living there as the homeowner, you're comfortable. Or if you're one of the kids or family coming to stay, it should feel like basically a hotel. So the entry gate for the Cheney project was really special. So that was a custom design that I did based on a photograph that the couple brought back. So they went to Japan. They actually moved to Japan for 6 months with their kids while this house was being built. And then they brought back a lot of designs or ideas that they liked. And they stayed in a hotel, and they said, hey, in the lobby, there was this really cool wall that we like. Can you basically recreate this as our entry gate? So that's when I, got to sketching, and then we found a metal fabricator that was able to basically translate my design and take that into the house. Another indoor garden on this one. This was a big design that people gravitate towards too. It's we recess the flooring so we can do the indoor rock garden, and then bring in some bamboo on this one and Japanese type plants, and then there's a skylight that basically lights the plants from up top.
Yeah, and just cast really pretty shadows.
Yeah. Yeah, and that goes back to one of the concepts that I always try to bring in the projects is natural light. So skylights are a huge factor that people often overlook. I think, it's like bringing in those to a powder room over a vanity, or into a laundry room, or over, certain spaces where not only, are we incorporating clear story light, but I think skylights are a huge portion of design.
It's a great project.
Yeah, just it gives a really good play on shadows and light, and just connecting with the outside.
Who built that one with you?
This was built by Regal. So have you guys worked with Regal at all?
Yep.
They're a great firm. I mean, obviously, it's like I work with a ton of contractors. Bedrock is a really good one. Regal is really good. And as an architect, I work with so many contractors because I don't. Basically, the client controls who they hire, or it's like I can recommend certain contractors to build the projects, but it's ultimately up to the homeowner who they want to build their home.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure they trust your input on it.
Oh yeah,
You guys are
yeah.
working
So it's like, yeah,
closely
obviously, a lot of homeowners or first-time builders are scared of the process of a new build. So it's a lot of hand-holding and walking them through the entire process, a lot of steps. So it's like it's like I can always recommend or have I might preferred contractors, and I do all the coordination for all that, but it's like, okay, here's who I like to work with for mechanical, electrical, structural design, pool design, all those things. Sometimes the clients will bring those to me and say, I have a very specific interior designer I want to work with. She's family friend for a long time, so this is it. So that's when we start collaborating there. But yeah, the design process is often a lot of just educating the client, I guess, and a lot of hand holding through the whole process.
All 3 to 4 years of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a long
Exactly.
process, right? Longer if it's outside, but
Yeah.
it's It's all
I mean,
good.
you touched a little bit on trends. We talked about, the ensuite's not going away. You think that'll
Uh-huh.
stick? Are there any other modern trends that you think are
Yeah, I
happening right
think
now? Or
ever since COVID, I think there's a couple things that stuck out from that. I mean, the wellness trend I don't see going away anytime soon. So the Jackrabbit property and the Campbellview property and even the Cheney projects and basically anything else, we're starting to see it's like, okay, people want the sauna, the cold plunge, the steam room. Um,
In addition to their gym.
in addition to the gym, yeah. So gym's always big, and the gym memberships. People during COVID weren't able to go, or they had to self distance and all these things. And today, they can get up at any hour, and it's just down the hall or through the door. So that's really easy. Um, Another trend that kind of came out of COVID, but I don't know if it'll stay around too long, is the double offices, the dual offices. So it used to be not only his and her closets, but now it's his and hers office. But now we see, more people going back into the office and they're converting those spaces now. So that's, I don't think that trend will stay around too long, but it's one thing that we saw kind of come and go very quickly.
I would agree with that. We see a lot of
Yes.
like a designated office and then a secondary office space, maybe off the kitchen or,
Uh-huh.
some space somewhere that can get another.
Yeah, just separate spaces in general. We saw a lot of people wanting pre-COVID, it was everybody wanted open floor plan. And then when they were having to work from home, it's like, I
Yeah.
can't be in an
Everyone's like, hey,
office.
we're on 2 calls at the same time. We need to be in separate spaces. So yeah, I think, and they're just turning them to different things, right? So, back in the 90s, theaters used to be really big when, the invention of, they always had the big projectors, and now flat screens are so big now that they're kind of becoming more of dual use spaces even, so they can have that theater, or, the next step further is, golf simulators, right?
We're seeing a lot of those. I
Yeah.
was just thinking about that.
Yeah, so golf simulators are huge. I was reading this article the other week about country club memberships are becoming more popular than ever. So a lot of people are wanting to basically hone their craft and do that at home, and then go to the golf course and play with their buddies. So
Interesting.
We know they're popular here. There's a wait list.
yeah,
everywhere.
obviously, yeah, waitlist here and the weather, we can do a lot of golf, and
Yeah.
that takes it a further step further outside, right? With all the putting greens and everything that we see within the design. So
Well, this has been great. We have a little rapid fire questions if you're up for it.
great, yeah.
All right. Favorite hobby outside of work?
Outside of work, it's taking care of my kids, basically.
Oh.
Yeah, so three young kids running around the house. So if I'm not working, I'm basically with my wife or with my family running around.
Yeah.
But yeah,
3 kids under the age of 5.
yeah, got my
a
hands
lot.
full in the thick of it, but wouldn't change it for the world. So
Maybe we'll ask you about hobbies here in 10 years.
yeah, exactly.
It's going to be driving the kids to soccer.
I know we
Exactly.
just started soccer, so that's my first time, doing the weekend soccer thing. So
It's so
it turned
fun.
from playing golf to driving kids to soccer, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. What's one architectural detail that you feel makes a home complete?
I think, it's like the main space, the main everyday living space that you're in, you want that to be comfortable, right? So I think you hit on earlier where it used to be a big open concept and everything, but I think that home means something different to everybody. So it's like, do you like to cook and be with your family? Do you like to watch TV? Do you like to just sit in bed? It's like all those different things. Some people like to hang out in their closet, which I don't do, right? So it's like I don't stay there. So it's like I hang out in the kitchen. I like to cook. I cook dinner for my family every night. So I think that the heart of the home is in the kitchen for me. So that's where I like to hang out and be with family.
So I'm assuming you take the time with your clients to figure out what their answer is to that question.
Yeah. So the process for basically before even starting, pen to paper design, it's like sit down with the client and interview them, and it gets very personal most of the time. It's like, okay, what does your everyday look like? How many kids do you have? Do you have any kids? Or it's like, do you have family stay with you? So everything becomes so personal in this interview process that it's like every space is designed specifically for a person, for a client.
You kind of need to know from the moment you wake up, what does your day look like?
Exactly.
So
yeah.
Well,
it's like, do they have any special routines? I mean,
Yeah.
One of the things, it's like I care very much about is, not to have a lot of clutter on counters. So we'll sit through and say, okay, what does your morning routine look like? Do you have a lot of makeup? Do you, use a blow dryer every day? Let's hide your let's, plan for your toothbrush to be locked away, out of sight, but still be able to charge. So you think through all these things that, it can get very intimate for some of these things, but it creates just such a magical moment for when it's done and they're able to use it.
I love it. A place for everything to be hidden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So important.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. What's your favorite type of music?
I really listen to everything. There's not, one type of music that I don't listen to. I grew up listening to a lot of country, but obviously I think Taylor Swift, Life of a Showgirl right now is huge in our house. So that's on every day. So, and then, yeah, it's like with kids, I mean, it's just crazy with all the Disney music we listen to. And then it goes to, I don't know, we'll be listening to Drake half the time. So it's literally every type of music.
That's great. What is your favorite restaurant?
Oh, I would have to say, love Olive and Ivy. Go there, a couple times a month probably, or Pomo.
Almost.
Yeah.
Good. Best piece of advice you regularly give your clients?
Enjoy the process, I think. So I think we hit on a little bit earlier, but it can be overwhelming and it can be stressful at times. But, designing a home, you're supposed to create these, forever memories, these really good memories. So I just want them to enjoy the process and have a, when they think back on the construction process, I want them to remember a good time, not all the hits and misses or whatever that came. Obviously, there's mistakes or things that come up during construction, but one of my mottos is there's always a solution to everything. So I always like to figure out, be a problem solver and come to their help, I guess, or come to a system, but just enjoy it.
Yeah, I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us
Yeah,
today.
thank you guys.
We're going to link all of your contact information on our show
Okay.
notes, but if you would, please tell our
Yeah, I
followers
think
where
the
they can
easiest
find
way
you.
is just go to tyharrison.com. Everything is right on there, including, social links and phone numbers and email addresses and everything like that. And then obviously all the links with the projects and photos of everything up there. So one-stop shop for all that.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Ty.
Great. Thank you guys.
All right. That's it for today's episode of Modern Home Mastermind. If you've enjoyed the show, please subscribe, like, and rate.
Thanks to our guest for sharing his insights and to you for learning about everything modern with us.
And if you're ready to take the next step in your real estate journey, please reach out to us at Bespoke Real Estate. And until next time, keep living, loving everything modern.